USPAP page 162, Advisory Opinion 33, AO-33. This communication by the Appraisal Standards Board, ASB, does not establish new standards or interpret existing standards. Advisory opinions are issued to illustrate the applicability of appraisal standards in specific situations and to offer advice from the ASB for the resolution of appraisal issues and problems. Subject: discounted cash flow analysis. Application: real property. The issue: discounted cash flow, DCF, analysis is an accepted analytical tool and method evaluation within the income approach to value. DCF, discounted cash flow analysis, is typically utilized to identify the potential for profit or return on an investment. Because it is dependent on the analysis of uncertain future events, it is vulnerable to misuse or misapplication. What steps can the appraiser take to comply with USPAP in completing a discounted cash flow analysis? Background: discounted cash flow analysis can be employed when valuing a variety of asset types. Discounted cash flow analysis techniques may be applied in the valuation or analysis of proposed construction, land development, condominium development, or conversion, rehabilitation development, and income-producing assets of various types. Discounted cash flow analysis has become a requirement of many real property clients and other intended users. These users of appraisal services favor the inclusion of discounted cash flow analysis as a management tool in projecting cash flow and return expectations, capital requirements, refinancing opportunities, and timing of future property dispositions. Discounted cash flow analysis is regarded as one of the best methods of replicating steps taken to reach many investor buy/sell/hold decisions, and is often a part of the exercise of due diligence in the evaluation of an asset. Discounted cash flow methodology is based on the principle of anticipation. For instance, value is created by the anticipation of future benefits. Discounted cash flow analysis reflects investment criteria and requires the appraiser to make rational and supportable assumptions. Discounted cash flow analysis can be used for investment value and market value appraisals, as well as for other purposes such as sensitivity tests. Discounted cash flow analysis is a tool available to the appraiser and is often applied in developing value opinions in concert with one or more other approaches. However, in certain circumstances, it may be the most credible method to solve the valuation problem. This advisory opinion focuses on the criteria for proper discounted cash flow analysis and does not imply that discounted cash flow analysis is or should necessarily be the only method employed. The competency rule specifically states that competency may apply to an analytical method. Discounted cash flow analysis is complex and requires specialized education and experience to achieve competency in its application. In addition, due to the complexity and the potential for misuse of technology, it also requires a high degree of care and diligence. Advice from the ASB on the issue. To avoid misuse or misunderstanding when discounted cash flow analysis is used in an appraisal assignment to develop an opinion of market value, it is the responsibility of the appraiser to ensure that the controlling input is consistent with market evidence and prevailing market attitudes. Market value discounted cash flow analysis should be supported by market-derived data, and the assumptions should be both market and property specific. Appraisal assignments that require the appraiser to employ assumptions that are not based on market data or to use assumptions provided by the client do not reflect market value, but rather investment value. Market value discounted cash flow analysis, along with available factual data, are intended to reflect the expectations and perceptions of market participants. They should be judged on the support for the forecasts that existed when made, not on whether specific items in the forecasts are realized at a later date. An appraisal report that includes the results of discounted cash flow analysis must clearly state the assumptions on which the analysis is based. For instance, per Standards Rule 2-1, and must set forth the relevant data used in the analysis. Standards Rule 1-1 states that the appraiser must not commit a substantial error of omission or commission that significantly affects an appraisal. Standards Rule 1-1 states that the appraiser must not render appraisal services in a careless or negligent manner, such as making a series of errors that, although individually might not significantly Page 163. Affect the results of an appraisal in the aggregate would affect the credibility of those results. These standard rules are significant for discounted cash flow analysis because of the potential for the compounding effect of errors in the input, unrealistic assumptions, or possible programming errors. Computer printouts showing the results of discounted cash flow analysis may be generated by readily available means, such as an appraiser's own spreadsheet, a commercially available spreadsheet template, or specialized discounted cash flow software. Regardless of the method chosen, the appraiser is responsible for the entire analysis, including the controlling input, the calculations, and the resulting output. If using commercial discounted cash flow software, the appraiser should cite the name and version of the software and provide a brief description of any assumptions and/or methodology unique to that software, if any. Standards Rule 1-4 requires that projections of anticipated future rent and/or income potential and expenses be based on reasonably clear and appropriate evidence. The comment to this standards rule makes specific reference to cash flow projections, the essence of discounted cash flow analysis. Discounted cash flow accounts for and reflects those items and forces that affect the revenue, expenses, and ultimate earning capacity of an asset, and represents a forecast of events that would be considered likely within a specific market. For example, in the appraisal of a multi-tenant property, a lease-by-lease analysis addresses contract and market rents, specific escalations, operating expenses, pass-through provisions, market-derived or specific concessions, capital expenditures, and any other measurable specific provisions applicable. Revenue growth rate or decline rate assumptions are premised on analysis of supply/demand factors and other economic conditions and trends within the market area of the subject. Operating expense change rates should reflect both overall expense trends and the specific trend of significant expense items. Discount rates applied to cash flows and estimates of reversion should be derived from data and information in the real estate and capital markets. Surveys of investor opinion and yield indices are also useful in the rate selection process, but only when the type of and market for the asset being appraised is consistent with the type of and market for the asset typically acquired by the investors interviewed in the survey. Primary considerations used in the selection of rates are risk, inflation, and real rates of return. When reversion capitalization rates are used, they should reflect investor expectations considering the asset type, physical characteristics, age and condition, cash flow projections, and related factors. The projection or forecast period is a variable and should be based upon the same factors that typical market participants are using. The results of discounted cash flow analysis should be tested and checked for errors and reasonableness. Because of the compounding effects in the projection of income and expenses, even slight input errors could be magnified and could produce unreasonable results. For example, it is good practice to test whether cash flows are changing at reasonable rates and to compare the reversion capitalization rate with the inferred going in capitalization rate to see if the relationship between these rates is reasonable. Standard 2 requires the appraiser to communicate each analysis, opinion, and conclusion in a manner that is not misleading. Appraisals using the discounted cash flow method in the income capitalization approach may contain computerized projections of itemized future cash flow supported by exhaustive printouts that can be misleading. The seeming precision of computer generated projections may give the appearance of certainty to projections and forecasts that are actually variable within a wide range. In discounted cash flow analysis, all of the assumptions, such as growth rates, decline rates, rental rates, discount rates, financing terms, expense trends, capitalization rates, etc., directly affect the conclusion and must be clearly and accurately disclosed in the appraisal report. Summary: Use of discounted cash flow analysis requires specialized knowledge and experience. Its application requires a high degree of diligence. Discounted cash flow analysis is a tool available to the appraiser and is often applied in developing value opinions in concert with one or more other approaches. It is the responsibility of the appraiser to ensure that the controlling input is consistent with market evidence and prevailing market attitudes. The appraiser is also responsible for the resulting output. Market value discounted cash flow analysis should be supported by market-derived data, and the assumptions should be both market and property specific. Appraisal assignments that require the appraiser to employ assumptions that are not based on market data or assumptions provided by the client are not market value, but rather investment value. If using commercial discounted cash flow software, the appraiser should cite the name and version of the software and provide a brief description of any assumptions and / or methodology unique to that software, if any. Discounted cash flow accounts for and reflects those items and forces the impact, the revenue, expenses, and ultimate earning capacity of an asset, and represents a forecast of events that would be considered likely within a specific market. The results of discounted cash flow analysis should be tested and checked for errors and reasonableness.